Hi, Mr. Hammer here again. This time we're going to talk about a new way to display data, another way to graph your work or show it to people. It's called the stem and leaf plot. One thing I can tell you about it is that you won't see it in very many places. I've never seen one, but it's just another way to organize the information. So it's called a stem and leaf plot. It's called a plot, not a graph. A plot. Basically, it's the same thing. So, let's look at this example here. Here are the number of books students read, students in one grade 7 class read in 1 year. So the number of books they read in 1 year. Each number is the number of books that one student read. So one student read 23, another 19, 43, 12, etc. So all these students read these numbers of books. And we can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 rows and 8 columns, so we know we had 32 students in total. Now, here's how you make a stem and leaf plot. The first thing you do is you want to look at your smallest number. So our smallest number here we identify as 10. And then we want to find the largest number, which is 43. So students read between 10 and 43 books. And in this case, we have no numbers in the hundreds. We only have numbers in the tens. So we're going to write the tens digit in the left, and that's going to be our stem. Okay, so the stems, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 1 represents 10, the 2 represents 20, the 3 represents 30, and the 4 represents 40. That's the important part to note here. And these are the stems. And how do we plot the leaves? Well, one by one, we look at these numbers and we cross them off and we add them here. So we look at the smallest number, 10. So that's a 1 and a 0. So this is 10. So the leaf here would be 0. Now this 0 represents 10. I'm going to cross that out. Now I look for the next largest number. I see 11. 11 is 10 plus 1. So 10 plus 1. And I look for the next largest number. I see a 12. So I'm going to write a 2 to represent 12. Then I see 13. I'm going to write a 3 to represent the 13. Next largest number, I have 2 15s. So I'm going to write a 5 and another 5 to represent those 15s. I have 1, 2 16s, so that'll be 2 6s. I have a 17 over here. I have another 17 over here. And I forgot a 16 over here, so I'm going to squeeze in another 6 there. I have an 18, which will be an 8, another 18, a 19, and a 19, and I believe that takes care of all my 10s. Now moving up to my 20s. So I have 20, which is 2 and then 0. Then 21, 22, 23, I have 2 23s, so that'll be 3 and 3. I have a 25 and a 24. Oh, 2 24s, so 4, 4 to represent the 2 24s, and the 5 to represent the 25. Let's see, I have a 27. So that'll be 7, cross that out. I have a 9, that's for 29. I think I'm done with my 20s. Now let's go to the 30s. I've got 36 and 38 and 31. So the 31 is represented by 1. The 36, I'll put a 6. 38, I'll put an 8. Cross those out. And in the, I missed a few. 31 and 32. So I'm going to erase. I've got a 31 and a 32. So that's 1, 1, 2, 6, 8. 1, 1, 2, 6, 8. And I missed the 26 over here, so I'm going to squeeze one more 6 in over there. And I've got a 33 as well. Boy, I'm missing a lot these days. So 3, 6, and 8. And there's 42 and 43, which will be represented by 2 and 3. So this is our stem and leaf plot. And what you can see here by my example is that it can be tricky to make sure you get every number covered. So there's a few things you can do to make sure you've done it correctly. Number 1 is to count up all the numbers you have here. 32. Then to recount the numbers down here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 in my 10s. 3, 6, 8 in my 20s, 3, 6 in my 30s, and 2 here in my 40s. I'll add those all up. 6 plus 8 is 14, plus 6 is 20, and then 22. So I'm adding up, I've got 32 numbers here. So probably, given that I checked and found a few mistakes, I have 32 here, I have 32 numbers here. Now again, what do these numbers represent? What do these 4 6s represent? They represent 16, 16, these 16s, all of the students who read 16 books. And where is my last one hiding? I should have 4. There's my 4th one, right. No, that's a 10. I don't have a 4th 16, which means possibly I have made a mistake. Maybe I only have 3 16s. Anyhow, I should have 3 6s here, which means I've made a mistake. So 3 6s represent these 3 16s over here. So we have 3 students who read 16. What does this 8 represent here? This 8 represents 38. So let's look somewhere in my data here. I have a 38. There it is. This 8 here represents this 38. Let's look at my 40s. So this 2 here represents 42, which is right over here. So this is another way to represent the data, and we can see right away most students read in the 10s. That's one bit of information we can get. We can also get the mode very quickly here. We can see there are 3 6s, and that's the number that shows up the most. So our mode is going to be 16. So this is one interesting aspect of a stem and leaf plot. Now we would need a title here, and so you would want to write books read in 1 year for that stem and leaf plot over here. Let's go to this example here. So we have this larger bit of information here. I'm going to add up and see how many I have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Here, I have 9 also in this last one, and here I have 8. So I have 9, 18, 26 total football players, and these are their heights. And the first thing I want to do is I want to find the range. I want to find the lowest number and the highest number. So let's scan through here, and we will see here 47. Is that my lowest number? Walking around, 147 appears to be my smallest number. And my largest number maybe is 190. No, 192. And yes, so I've got from 147 centimeters all the way up to 192 centimeters. So in this case, because we have hundreds, we don't just put the tens in the stem, we put the tens and the hundreds. So we need 1 4 all the way up to 1 9. So in our stem here, we're going to need 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. And then in our leaf here, that's where we can start adding numbers. So we're going to draw the stem and leaf plot. We'll first find all our 140s. I'm going to do that first. So 140s, there we go. And the smallest one is 145. So I'll put a 5 to represent 145. I will put a 7 to represent 147. And 2 148s, I'll put 8 and 8. Now I'll move on to my 150s. Maybe I'll do that in a different color, since I can. My 150s I'll circle so I can identify them first so I don't make the same mistakes again. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and I've got 2 3s. So 3, 3, and a 5, and a 9. There we go, my 150s. Let's choose green for my 60s. 162, 164, 67, 64, and another 64. So my smallest is 2 for 162. Then I have 1, 2, 3 164s. So 1, 2, 3 4s. Then I have a 167, so a 7, and a 168, so an 8. Different color again. I think this color system is working really well because I don't think I'm making any mistakes like last time. 170s are next, so I'm going to circle first. And the smallest is 171, so that's a 1. Then 173, so a 3. 76, so a 6. 77 is a 7. And 79, so a 9. Again, 171, 173, etc. And purple for my 180s. There we go, the smallest of which is 183, so a 3. Cross that off. Then 187, 7, cross that off. 188 and 189. Oh, 2 187s. I found another 187, 88, 89. And my 190s, we'll just do in black, 192 and 190. So 0 and 2. Now I'm going to count them all up and make sure I have the same number. So there's 4, another 4, Here's 6 numbers, 5, another 5, and 2. So 10, 24, 26, so probably I'm good in terms of I have the same number of numbers here. And again, a recap. What do these numbers mean? This number here doesn't mean 5, it means 145. What does this number 3 mean here? It means 153. These numbers are not connected to each other. Each of these attaches to a stem. So these two 3's correspond to my, and I'll erase them all. So my 3's here represent 153 here and 153 here, these 2 points. And this is the last thing we would need is to add the title. Very important, a lot of students forget to add the title to their graphs, whether it's a stem and leaf plot or something else. Now, the next question is, what is the median height? Well, the nice thing we can do is basically these are in order. We have 26 numbers. We need the middle 2 numbers. That's going to be our 13th number and our 14th number, right in the middle of 26. So we're going to count up from our lowest here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 is here. So our 13th and our 14th numbers are here. And if I got this correct, let's count and see how many numbers bigger there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 numbers bigger, and 4, 8, 12 numbers smaller. So these numbers represent our median. What are these numbers? Well, this is 167 and this is 168. So our median is going to be the average of those 2 numbers, 167 plus 168, and then we'll divide that by 2. So get out my trusty calculator, and I'll do 167 plus 168, divide that by 2, and we're going to get 167.5. And that's centimeters. So that's our median height. And we can do that because a stem and leaf plot organizes your numbers from smallest to largest. What is the mode height? Well, the mode, again, is the number that happens or occurs the most. So I see 3 4's in here, and I don't see any other number represented 3 times. Those 3 4's represent 164. I'll draw that in green. 164 here, 164 here, and 164 here. So our mode is 164 centimeters. So as you can see here, the stem and leaf plot is actually good for quickly identifying the median and the mode, although it does take a lot of time to set up and it is quite difficult. So one thing you can do is circle all your numbers in the correct row and then one by one cross them off and put them in order from smallest to largest. Remember, in the stem goes everything except your 1's. In the leaf, always goes only the 1's, and in the stem goes everything above that.